Our guy Lou Merloni joins us from Florida. Mr. Merloni, how we doing?
Well, I'm starting to drink heavily.
There you go.
Yeah, me too.
There's our Lou.
Most of you getting that plane ride home and just a quiet winter meeting. You always hope it's kind of get some action. I thought maybe there was because there was some coming into it, but not much going on, especially in the Red Sox end.
Just to put a bunch of nips in that carry-on. You'll be just fine.
Yep, you'll feel better soon. But I think you and I shared a brain the other day on Twitter. It was Schwarber goes back to Philly, and it's like, okay, this is fine. It's just Alonso or bust. Well, now it's not Alonso. So what does bust look like?
Yeah, it's the minute he found out Baltimore offered Schwarber basically a match when he went to Philly. He just said, well, there's your market for Alonso.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's like they offer that to Schwarber. Why wouldn't they offer that to Alonso? And basically it was. They gave him $5 more million. So I don't know. Listen, I wanted one of those two guys because obviously it's instant power tool. But is it bust after that? There's still some players here that you can add. You can add a couple of bats to kind of improve this top and middle of the order that can make you a good baseball team. You don't have that elite tool of power. Those are those two guys. The other guy is Gino Suarez. I'm not a big fan, to be honest with you. I know he's got potential, but it's not consistent. There's a ton of strikeouts. He doesn't play a position. So for me now, I just sort of look back to I want Alex Bregman. I want defense. I want contact. I want 20 to 25 home run potential. I want to find the same thing at first and go from there.
Lou, you go back to Pete Alonso just real quick. You said kind of the Schwarber kind of set the market for Pete. And so it was a pretty simple kind of contract to get done with Pete if you wanted it. But reports are that they went way under what Pete Alonso actually got. So the two things that come to mind for me is, well, did they really want the guy if they severely kind of underbid, or did they completely misread the market? What is it? One of those things to you that happened there?
Yeah, I think the Red Sox sort of. Yeah, you're right. It's one of those things. Yeah, we like the player. Well, obviously not enough, right? And this is part of the whole thing of getting uncomfortable. Do we think 4 years, $100 million is probably what he's worth because he is probably a DH? But that's great. You can think that, but if that's the case, then you really don't want him because that's not going to come close to getting it done. So it's like, it was funny. I talked to somebody else from New York, and they were just kind of talking about him. It's like, he's a DH, and the Yankees kind of, the Mets rather, they're not bringing him back. I'm like, what does that say? Because he does have 45 homers in that lineup. Why wouldn't they bring him back? And he's like, I just don't see Craig Breslow giving a one-dimensional guy who doesn't run, play defense, he hits home runs, $30 million for $5 million. And I'm like, well, that's what it's going to take. And it was, and they weren't willing to go there. So. Do I know what the plans are? No. Does anybody know what the plans are? No, because it's a very small circle of trust in that GM room of Craig Breslow. And so that's why these reports that come out, I don't believe any of them because I think they're all coming from other teams or agents.
Which is crazy, but, that is what it is. So, Lou, what about Bregman?
Yeah.
Seems like there was that talk that maybe they'd be able to bring him back. And then last week, I believe there was the report. They've now shifted focus. He's their number one priority. Do you think there's any more movement on that front? Because it feels like since he's a Boris guy, they're kind of painting themselves into a corner, and now Bregman and Boris have the leverage.
Yeah, for me, it's almost like last year, too. It's like they got Alex Bregman because Bregman almost waited for Boston to move, and to offer him a deal he's willing to take. And I think Bregman wants to be back here, but I think when you look at his mark, you start wondering what it is. And this could come down to the issue. The Red Sox like these players, but they like them at their price. They value these guys. And if you continue to do that, you are not going to get these guys, right? So they may slow play this thing. And that's why I think part of the rumors, too, to be honest with you, with him interested in every single infielder might be to shake up that camp a little bit. Because I do think Alex wants to come back, and he doesn't want to hear the Red Sox involved in Isak Paredes or Ketel Marte or whatever it may be. And they may be separate deals anyways, but they have to be willing to kind of get a little uncomfortable in terms of what they want to give per year and how many years.
Nesson and WEEI's Lou Merloni here on WEEI Afternoons. Lou, so you just said, there's a couple bats out there, and we've already seen a couple pitchers come in. We all started the offseason thinking Joe Ryan and a big bat. Is it now? Yeah. Is it now quantity over quality then?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on if you think a guy like Ketel Marte or Alex Bregman. It's like, is it more of a complete player better than a guy that can pop 45 homers? And you can sit in a room and argue that all you want. So you can still get two impact guys to hit this in the 2-3 range for this lineup. I think it's just a question of is one through trade, is one through free agent signing. It's just a question of like where they go from here. They have to go somewhere. Like you don't, you have Roman Anthony. You know, let's say call it. You have a leadoff hitter, and then you have like 5 through 9 covered with potentially Story hitting somewhere in that top 5. But still, that's what you have. You have huge holes in your lineup.
So trade market, right? I mean, that's the next logical thing is the trade market, Lou. I mean, there's deals out there that we probably have no idea because we don't know who they're interested in on other teams. But I mean, is that the next, really the only move they have left to get the middle, bat that they so kind of desire and covet? Is the trade market the way to go?
Yeah, I think he could. But I think the Marte thing is real. I think there should be interest in him. I think he's kind of all around, probably the best second baseman in the game, switch hitter, really good defensive guy that can hit for some power. So I think that's real. It's just that, we hype up our prospects so badly that I think what it would take to get him, people are like, no way. And I say all day because I'm trying to improve the big league team. You create depth and you just get into this hoarding idea and the people in Boston, they just love these prospects. Not everybody's Roman Anthony. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's Pedro Martinez. And it's sort of like you have to start giving up a little bit, and it could hurt, but you can get one of the better second basemen in the game, if not the best. So I still think that's real. We'll see if they dive in. I like the kid Okamoto, the Japanese, if they want to dive back into that first baseman, third baseman model, just because of the profiles is kind of in that Bregman kind of range, right? Like, he can play defense, he makes contact, he hits 25 home runs. I mean, this is where we're at right now, right? Because the elite power is off the table.
Last we saw, Lou, as far as the pitching went, Sox were starting a kid who had just been called up a few weeks ago in the third and final game of a wild card series. So pitching needs a little work as well. So far, picked up Oviedo and Sonny Gray. What do you think about what they've done as far as pitching acquisitions thus far, and anyone you have your eye on going forward?
Listen, I like Sonny Gray. Okay, it's just that I thought you were going to get your Chris Sale to go with David Price. I thought you were going to get a guy for 4 or 5 years to go with Garrett Crochet, not one. And that's kind of what Sonny Gray is. I think for 2026, I think he's a good pitcher. Oviedo's kind of more upside. Bayo is in the mix. There's guys like Patrick Sandoval and Cutter Crawford, and there's 6 names right there, and then you're not even mentioning early yet. So it's the depth is there. There's potential. As long as you have Crochet healthy on top of that rotation, for it to be still a very good rotation. But depending, if you don't spend on the bats, you do wonder if they take a pass and try to load up on this rotation for one more big piece.
So, Lou, is it my understanding Breslow had some media availability? Did you hear him speak?
Yeah.
What was his message? What did he have to say?
It's when a GM sits in front or a manager sits in front of the media during these things, they don't say anything. They really don't. I mean, it's like, well, we can't talk about free agents. We can't talk about pursuit. We're interested in this guy. We're interested in that guy. So, it's hard to read between the lines, with a lot of it because they just, like I said, this front office, they don't give you much, right, publicly. And it's why when you come down here, you have to sift through, like, all the crap that you hear and the rumors. You got to shower 4 or 5 times a day just to feel clean, and just sort of go with it and wait for something to happen so you can react to it rather than trying to predict it because it can be extremely unpredictable.
All right, before we let you go, one last question. I was reading some of the Cora comments from yesterday, and was it reality or crap when he was talking up Willie Abreu and saying something to the effect like he could be the guy? He's going to hit more against lefties this year, and maybe he could be, quote, the guy. Is that reality? Can he be your guy for a power hitter?
Yeah, he can be. He can be. It'd be nice to have like more of a given next to it. But I do think that there is another level. I mean, last year you look at some swing and miss stuff out there numbers-wise where it was like 28, 30%. He cut it down to 24. If there's one more step and he makes a little bit more contact, and that average can climb to 270, and he can stay healthy, and he can pop 30 home runs. There's no question about it. And Roman's got some potential to do it as well. So, Abreu has a chance to really be a special player if he takes the next step. Like elite defense, power, good athlete. So there's a lot of potential there. And that's why you'd like to see the veteran known player go with the potential of an Abreu, Roman, Cedon, Narvaez, these types of guys. You just don't want to rely on those young guys and just expect all of them to take the next step because that's just not realistic.
All right, Lou, safe travel.
Real quick. Did you take the sticks down there, Lou? Did you play some golf while you're down in Orlando?
No, I didn't. We were right on a golf course, and it really killed me. Instead, I just walked up and down hallways, just waiting for something to happen for 3 or 4 days, drinking about 48 cups of coffee.
Walking hallways and taking a lot of showers. Yep, very good.
That's the Lou Merloni experience at the meeting. Safe travels home. Enjoy the drinking if that's part of your future. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, boys. You got it. Anytime.